This is Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance, and we are in San Jose today at the California Democratic Party Convention. We are joined by Loretta Sanchez. She is a member of the United States Congress. She is running for the United States Senate, and there's a lot of excitement going on in the halls. We see all your posters and buttons and bumper stickers.
It's exciting. Yeah. It's going to be an exciting race in June, and of course, a great race in November, where you're looking at the next United States Senator for California.
And let's talk about that. I mean, who would have thunk Loretta Sanchez were you born in Orange County?
Little girl from Anaheim, California.
Yeah.
Grows up and goes to the House. 20 tough years of taking the tough votes, and now going to the United States Senate.
But I do want to go back, if I may, and talk about Loretta from Anaheim. I mean, did Loretta from Anaheim ever dream that she would defeat Bob Dornan, the conservative icon of the California Republican Party, and then spend 20 years in the House, and then be considered a leading candidate for the U.S. Senate? I mean, tell me about little Loretta from Anaheim. What did she think?
Well, you know, I never thought that I would be in politics. I studied to be a businesswoman. I was a financier, had a very successful career in that. Went back to my hometown of Anaheim because my grandmother was getting older and I wanted to spend time with her. Sure. And got mad at my member of Congress, happened to be Bob Dornan.
Happened to be one
Ran
Bob.
against him, even though the Democrats didn't endorse me. And guess what? We beat everybody.
You won.
We won.
So let's talk about your decision to run for the U.S. Senate, because arguably you could continue your time in the Congress. You're gaining seniority.
I've been named one of the 25 most powerful women in the Senate or the House, in the Congress.
So, you know, and Democrats are hopeful they'll retake the House, so you could see yourself in leadership. So you're taking a risk.
You know, I believe that these seats, this Senate seat, comes around about every 20 or 30 years.
It's true.
Now, when my colleagues kept coming to me on the House floor and saying, "Run, Loretta, run," I had to take a serious look at it. And the majority of them have endorsed me, they're with me, they're working. They said, "You have the temperament, you know the issues, you know how to work with people, you know how to work both sides, you know what's been tried, where we failed, what we need to do. You have the international and military experience. We need you as a senator." And when I looked at it, I said, yeah, there is nobody, none of these candidates who have ever cast a vote in the United States Congress. They don't know the pressures when everybody wants to go to war, for example, and they're pushing you. They don't know the pressures of what's happening when, you know, Main Street is going down and Wall Street is, you know, saying, "Bail us out, bail." They don't know the pressures of casting the votes. And you know what? I have 20 years of a record and experience to do so. I believe I also have the life experience of a Californian. My parents are immigrants. I grew up poor. I know what it is to earn a dollar. I know how education lifts the family, lifts us, how investment lifts us as a community.
So let's talk about the fact that you are an immigrant. You are of Latino descent. It's hard to deny that should you be victorious, you will make history.
I am used to making history.
That's true. You are used to it.
I beat Bob Dornan. Time Magazine called it the defeat of the decade.
Right.
My sister came into the Congress. My two immigrant parents are the only parents.
Are they still with us?
Oh, both of them.
What do they think of you and Linda?
Are the only parents in the history of the United States to send two daughters to the United States Congress. Think of it. One generation, right? I have been a trailblazer. They were both born in Mexico.
And they have two daughters in the U.S. Congress.
Imagine that. The only parents ever to achieve that. Because they love this country, because they instilled in their kids a love for this country, of working hard, of giving back to community. That's what my parents were about, and that's what we are about.
Let's face it, your path to victory is through lots of portions of California, but including communities with significant Latino voters.
Well, I believe that because I have the life experience of
Right.
Californians, because I have actual legislative experience and a voting record. You don't
Right.
have to hear what I think I'm going to vote.
We know.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm going to vote. And because I have this international and military
Right.
experience, that when people see the experience I have and the voting record I have, they are going to say, whether they're
Right,
Latino
right.
or Anglo or
Right.
Northern or Southern, they're going to say, this is the person we need.
Let me put it another way then, because I think it's a fair conversation. For Democrats to do well, we see and we know that the Democrats need to have a high voter turnout.
That's correct, and I will
amongst
drive that
Latinos.
vote.
And
They
so,
need it among everybody. People have sort of said, are politicians really helping? Do they really care about us?
Mm-hmm.
And my answer to them is, I'm one of you. I have cared. I've shown that I've cared. My family cares. I'm with you. You can come and talk to me. You can ask the people in my district. I believe that Californians will come and vote. And when they come and vote, they'll put us into
let's
the
talk
Senate.
about an issue, if we may, that is before you right now. And it deals with our iPhones. We all have one. And as you know, actually not far from your district, in San Bernardino on December 2nd, there was a terrible tragedy.
Yes.
14 people were killed as a result of radical Islamist terrorists. And right now, the federal government is looking to access the cell phone of one of the terrorists who, and actually the cell phone was owned by this county of San Bernardino, which is an interesting wrinkle. But be that as it may, Apple, the owner of the cell phone, is reticent to unlock the cell phone.
Well, it is a new area for the court and for the Congress, because in the past, the operating system of those iPhones has had a key to open it up
Right.
and give information. And where that has happened and where a court warrant has been given, Apple usually has given up the information. But in this particular case, Apple is saying, hey, we don't have a key. So the question is, can the government mandate to a private company to make a key to open that up?
But should they have a key? Should they have had a key?
Well, they are saying, Apple are saying that by not having made a key, we made it so hackers and other people can't get into the system. We can't get into the system, but we've made your phones more secure. So that's where this issue is going to come. And, the court looks at one court case and a very narrow basis, and they do not have the funds to investigate and think about policy implications. That is the role of Congress. So
what do you
yeah, so I said we need
anticipate-
to get it before Congress. We need to investigate it. We need to think about what are the policy implications of telling a private company make a key and have that key available so that we can look at information should a court order that so.
So a court has ordered it.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering, what do you think? Have you taken an official position on whether Apple should make that key?
Well, Apple is, again, that's a whole new basis. And I can understand them because there's policy implications.
Right.
They've said, for example, okay, well, what if the U.S. government tells us open it up, make a key. So we make a key. Now we've made that system less safe for our users because now hackers may be able to get in now that there is some way to get in.
So
That's one policy
yeah.
implication. The second policy implication is, okay, so the U.S. government says give us. What about if we have iPhones under Chinese jurisdiction in China? Because China wants to go after human rights people, for
These
example.
are valid issues.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
That's the Congress's role, to look at this, to think about the policy implications, and to debate and put in law.
She'll be back. She is Loretta Sanchez, member of the U.S. Congress, candidate for the U.S. Senate. I'm Brad Pomerance at the California Democratic Party Convention. It's Charter Local Edition. It is a really tricky, it's